Hey, Zoomers, welcome back to World Zoom. So happy you could join me again this evening. Always appreciate it. Hey, today's topic is just what you would expect when there's fraud really anywhere in the world. And that is, once a conspiracy is announced, the first people that get to the judicial group, whether that be the courts or to the prosecutors, are the ones usually that get the best deal and the ones that name all the names. It certainly didn't take long in the Philippines for people to rush forward and get with the prosecutors and get in front of the press and the court and start naming a whole bunch of names. 5 on the first day, 7 more on the second day, and we've already had an admission of guilt from a couple Filipino senators. Now, anyone who knows the Philippines is not surprised of the gross misappropriation of funds at really all levels of the Philippine government. But even in Philippine terms, this fraud was pretty egregious. Actually taking every dollar of the flood control program and spreading it out among a fairly large group of people and not building anything, not watering it down, not pouring bad concrete, not underbidding, and all the type of things you normally would see with a large construction project. So Senators Escudero, previous Senator Nancy Benet, and previous Senator Bong Revilla were probably 3 of the most well-known, either current senators or past senators, named publicly, one of which has already admitted to the wrongdoing. They also named Mario Lapagna, and I hope I said that right. It could just be an NA, who was undersecretary and a commissioner. So Robert Bernardo implicated this group of 5 really on the first day. They then brought in one of those 5 who implicated 7 additional public officials and government officials and regulators, politicians, and such. So then comes the NBI, the National Bureau of Investigation, the same as our Federal Bureau of Investigation. Not exactly, known for not having corruption in their ranks as well, unfortunately. But they came up with announced charges, and I've never heard this term before. You guys can explain it to me, although it makes sense, I guess. But malversation is what they're planning to charge this initial group of 12, and there could be as many as 100, even plus more. It reminds me of the silly thing called unjust vexation that they charge Vitali with. But it sounds like this malversation could have some pretty serious penalties along with it. So the Anti-Money Laundering Council, AMLC, has seized and is going to hold over 700 bank accounts already. There's another representative, and I don't know if this is abbreviation of the last name or if his last name is Co, because I thought maybe they were talking about Zaldi Corporation, just because all I could find was CO, just CO period. But I think that really is his last name. There was soldiers that came forward and provided testimony that they were in charge of the transport of hundreds of millions. They didn't say billions, but they said hundreds of millions of Philippine pesos to these groups of that I mentioned before, the senators, some business heads, some representatives, undersecretaries, people in a planning commission, that group of people. And they gave in great detail, where they got the money from, who they delivered the money to. So it's going to make it especially difficult for some of these folks that were already named to be able to say that they weren't involved in the process. And I think it'll be interesting, every time they're going to bring a name comes up and that person's going to come up and have to testify, there's probably going to be 4 or 5 or 10 more names that are going to pop forward. I still think we're going to see the fraud and the theft, or as they want to call it, malversation, continue to move up the food chain. Although senators are pretty high group of people to catch with their fingers so deep in the pie. But I really think there's going to be some other folks, because usually when you have corruption and greed at this level in the billions of pesos area, it usually spread out, and its tentacles is going to be everywhere. So 700 bank accounts named, 12 already pretty prominent, a whole host of others that are further down the food chain. Should be a pretty interesting process as this begins to play out. So flood fraud, and the Filipinos are naming names. So anyway, from World Zoom, appreciate you guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Take care.